So I'm going to give you a little update on where we're at with Kiara's behavior. Kiara and her puppets. Kiara and her puppets. The day I did the video telling you what had happened, later that night we had an issue. I had told Kiara no to something, and she threw it on the ground, ran up my arm, bit me on the shoulder, and bit me on the head. Luckily, the canines were filed down, or they would have been, because they were aggressive bites. The next day, I went to get Petey out of her enclosure, because at the time, I was leaving him in there only a couple hours a day, because I wasn't sure what I was dealing with the aggression, and I was worried. And I went to get him out, and she started to come out, and I put my hand up to stop her and keep her from coming out so I could close that door. And her whole body just went crazy, and she screamed, and she bit my hand. And she was on pain meds. So she had a week of pain meds left, and I was extremely nervous what was going to happen when those pain meds ran out. But she hears Petey in there. But anyway, so she threw a couple temper tantrums, and I know some people are going to think that, well, she was asserting her dominance. I really look at it more as temper tantrums, because to me there's a difference between asserting dominance and throwing temper tantrums. I consider those temper tantrums. You know, part of the responsibility of caring for these guys is to try to analyze situations and what caused them and how I can make it better. And I got to thinking, there were a lot of changes, drastic changes, literally overnight. Everything changed. Her environment changed. The way we did things changed. Our schedule changed. She was no longer sleeping with me because the wounds were so bad that I didn't think I could handle the pain if they jumped on my legs when they played. So I wasn't having them sleep with me. So everything had changed. And monkeys don't handle change very well, especially drastic change like what we were going through. And so I thought, you know, that could be probably where the temper tantrums came from. Well, I had a talk with her. I know. You know she doesn't understand everything you say. I know that. But I think she understands some of what I say. And so I had a talk with her. I just told her, you can't do that anymore. You can't bite me anymore. That can't happen anymore. For the last 3 weeks, we haven't had any issues. She's actually been on her best behavior, even after the pain meds ran out. She's been really, really good. Now let me rephrase that. She's back to her normal difficult self. Normal difficult self. She's not easy. She's difficult, but she's back to normal. And she's a good little monkey. She's been really good. Now I've also made some changes myself in the way I respond to things, and there's going to be some disagreement here, but I no longer use a firm voice with her. That was not effective. When I tell her no to something, I say it in a really nice voice, or I might use a different choice of words like leave it alone, or if she has something that I don't want her to have, then I will, stay over here. Come here. Kiara, come here. If she has something that I don't want her to have, I'll say, hey, look, I got your gleamer. Look. if she has something I don't want her to have, then I'll give her something that she can have,
Ask me a yes or no question.
so that I can get back what it is that she has. And I know people say that toy ruins the videos, but she just loves it so much, and it keeps her entertained. But I don't think they could see you in the picture. Oh, you stay over here. This is for my bestie. You can't see her, but she lip smacking like crazy. She lip smacking like crazy. But I forgot where I was going. But so yeah, so I've made some changes in the way I react, and the thing is it, you know, it really doesn't matter if I use a firm voice or if I don't use a firm voice. What matters is that I'm getting the results I want. And if it's working, what does it matter what kind of voice I use or how firm I am or how assertive I am with her? It's working. So that's kind of how I've been handling the situation. And really, to be honest, that's a small price to pay to keep the peace, for us to get along. And in reality, we do that all the time. We modify our behavior all the time based on our interactions, who we're interacting with, or the relationships that we're in. You know, we might change our tone of voice or our choice of words, and it's really not that much different. So anyway, we've been getting along really good, and Kiara's been really, really good. There were a few days there that I was having some problems with diaper changes, which was actually kind of shocking because she's always been really good about diaper changes and just stays still and lets me do it. But she was like moving around weird ways and acting like she didn't want it done, and I thought, oh boy, what's going on? Well, she ended up having a little sore on her bottom that I didn't know about, and that's what was causing that. So then I started putting some of that A&D ointment on it, and then a couple days later she was right back to normal, just letting me change her diaper. No issues there. But she's been really, really good. Now, all the changes that we made, I think, raised her anxiety levels. That's something that I've been dealing with too, is her anxiety levels have just were through the roof for a couple of weeks there. And I was extremely worried. I was very worried. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was trying everything I could to keep her happy. And it just wasn't working. And I was just so nervous because I was watching her being in distress was just painful for me. And so I know that a lot of that was from the changes. So we've kind of slowly gone back to doing things the way we were doing them. Not everything. Some things I'm not going to change back. And one of those is now all of their fruits and vegetables they have to forage for when they're in their room. I used to bring them. I had foraging things for them, but like throughout the day or whatever, I'd bring them little treats, little pieces of fruit and stuff, and put them in that little bowl, and you know, just kind of a neat little treat for them. But I don't do that anymore. Now they have to forage for everything, which is better for them. But you know, they only forage when they're in the room, because I don't have foraging things throughout the house when I bring them out. But and I'll do a video on that, you know, soon, so you can kind of see some of the things that I do for them. But the only thing that they eat outside of that enclosure now is their monkey biscuit cereal that I make for them every night. They come into the kitchen and they eat that in the kitchen. But all their fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, it's all foraged now. They have to forage for all of it. And their fruit, they actually have to work a little harder for, and I'll show you that in a video. But it seems to be going pretty good. And at first they were kind of mad about it, but they caught on to it pretty quick, and it works out really good for them. So, but a lot of the things we've gone back to the way that that we used to do. Also, I've moved my desk back into that room, so I can't enlarge that enclosure at this time. But I did that because, you know, she was used to seeing me when I was working at my computer, and with my desk out in the living room, she couldn't see me, and I think that was probably contributing to her anxiety levels. So I did that. I left everything else in the living room, all the shelving units with all my business product. It's all still in the living room, and it's going to have to stay in the living room because there's not room in that room now for it. But my desk is in there, so when I'm working, she can see me. Also, I brought them back to bed with me about a week ago. I wasn't going to do it because a couple weeks ago I had decided that it would probably be best if I didn't bring them back to bed with me, because I had decided that the little sanctuary that I'm going to be building, for just in case, I felt it would probably be better if they just lived in that. I felt they would be happier, and bringing them back to bed with me would confuse them, so I wasn't going to do it. But her anxiety levels were so high, I just was thinking, I bet you that has something to do with it, because she has slept with me every night since the day I got her. So for 3 years, she slept with me, and all of a sudden she wasn't. And so I thought, you know what, that probably has a lot to do with it too. So I brought them back to bed with me. Now, doing those two things, moving my desk in there and bringing them back to bed, huge improvement in her anxiety. I mean, just huge improvement. So I was right that those two things made a big difference. And probably what's going to happen when I do build that little sanctuary thing is they'll probably have kind of like a hybrid lifestyle type of thing, where during the day they can be out there, and at night they can come in with me if they want to. They'll have that choice. They won't have to come in with me. Now I'm pretty sure, stay up here. Come here. Where'd your other thing go? Oh, here it is. She loves the little toys that like make noises when you squeeze them. That's a little duck, and when you squeeze it, it makes quacking noises. She loves it. Anyway, I had, they'll probably have, you know, a hybrid lifestyle, where they can come in and sleep with me at night if they want. If they don't want to, they don't have to, but it'll be their choice. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be wanting to come in with me, and wherever she goes, Petey has to go. So chances are that's kind of probably what we'll end up doing, but we'll just kind of play it by ear and see. But anyway, now her anxiety had me so concerned that I was in panic mode for a couple of weeks. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was constantly researching. I was trying to figure out things to keep her happy, and I was panicked. I contacted Sanctuary, not because I wanted to get rid of her, not because I didn't want to deal with it anymore, but because I just wanted her to be happy, and I needed help. And I expected that they would tell me that it's best for them to go to a sanctuary. I figured that's what they would say. And we were on the phone for 35 minutes. I told them how I've raised her, what our schedule was, what happened, where we are now, what our schedule is now, what my future plans were. And she said that given the situation, they're actually better off with me. Several reasons, I think, she said that. First, it's pretty traumatic on a monkey to get sent to a sanctuary. And I was already planning on building them something that they could have more freedom. And so I think that was part of the reason why she said what she said. And I know it can be traumatic on them. I watched what happened to Petey, you know, when I got him, because he's a rehome. I got him when he was 7 months old, and it was horrible. He was not doing well when I got him. And I think that's part of it. But also, space is really limited at those sanctuaries, extremely limited. And that really needs to be reserved for crisis situations. And we're not in a crisis situation by any means. And what I mean by crisis situation is monkeys that are being abused, or take, for instance, what happened with us. What some people may have done is just thrown her in a little cage and said, "I'm done with you. You've bit me too many times. I'm done," and just left her. Fed her or whatever, but just left her in there with no interaction or anything. And that's a crisis situation for a monkey, because that's not that should never be done. But that's what some people might have done, if their monkey bit them. So those are the situations where no, the monkey needs to go to a sanctuary. But with my future plans and giving them more freedom and more choices and things like that, they're better off with me. She said as long as they're well taken care of and they're happy and I'm able to care for them, it's best that they stay with me. So, but she did give me some tips on how I could help Kiara through her anxiety. And she emailed me their protocol book of primate enrichment that they use at their facility. And she told me if I ever have any questions or problems with behavior or anything, that I can contact her. I can call her, I can text her, I can email her. So I've got a great resource now that I can go to, and I'm so glad that I spoke with her. She's a great person, and I'm really glad that I've got that resource now if I need it. So things are going really well, and to be honest, Petey's doing really good. He hasn't really had any issues through all of this. He's pretty easygoing. He just kind of goes with the flow. He likes that new enclosure. I think he likes it that we're back in bed to all of us together. But to be honest, I don't think he really cares either way. He's okay either way. She's the one that had an issue with not sleeping with me. And that first night that I brought them back to bed with me, I didn't sleep. I don't know if I slept any that night. Partly because the last time I had them in bed, my leg got attacked. But another thing is that Kiara, come here. Let me see your little chickie. I want to make it make chickie sounds. Let me see it. What Kiara's always done when we sleep is she's always got her arms around me somehow. And she usually just cuddles into my chest because I sleep on my side. She wraps her arms around my neck, lays her cheek on my cheek, and that's how she sleeps. Well, that first night, she was practically choking me all night long. I couldn't, she was holding on so tight. She was not letting go. And Petey, the first 2 nights, Petey slept up on the headboard. I don't know why. I don't know if he was looking down saying, that's a lot of hugging stuff going on. I ain't getting involved in that. I don't know, but he slept up on the headboard. And then the 3rd night that they came back to bed with me, I turn off the TV. Kiara comes up, puts her arms around my neck. And then a few minutes later, and Petey was up on the headboard, and a few minutes later, she got up. And she reached up for him, and I'm watching her, and I'm thinking, what's she doing? She didn't pull him down or anything. She just reached up for him. And then she came back down, and she kind of curled into my stomach and wrapped her arms around my waist under the covers there. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then a few minutes later, it dawned on me what she was doing. Because Petey came down from the headboard, curled into my neck, and went to sleep. So she just wanted him to come down with us. Kind of like the way things were. She wanted things to go back to the way that they were. And she was letting him know, it's okay to come down here. And so that's kind of how we do it now. And although she still kind of has to be around my head when she sleeps. So sometimes what she does is she'll lay on the pillow behind my head and then wrap her arms around my head and lay her head on, or her cheek on my cheek, kind of. So, but anyway, things are going really good. Kiara's pretty much back to normal. Now, I've been asked a few times in the comments, so I'm just going to go ahead and address them now. One is, how did she get the electrical burn? Well, I had to think long and hard about it, because when I have them out and about, a lot of times they're on a leash for safety purposes, but also even if I didn't have them on a leash, I'm like on them like glue. I'm just like so careful with them that I'm like, there's no way she bit a cord. There's absolutely no way that happened. Well, what happened was, I'm fairly certain this is what happened, was she had removed a Glade plug-in from the bathroom wall. Because one time when I was changing Petey's diaper, I remembered a time that night when I got home from the vet, and I'm trying to think, how could this have happened? I remembered a time that she just went crazy and flew across the room. I didn't really think much of it. I'm looking around like, what did you do? Didn't think anything of it. And then later that day or whatever, I noticed the Glade plug-in was out, and I thought she just pulled it out, but I didn't realize she had gotten shocked that she had gotten that electrical burn. So she had to have pulled it out at the plug with her mouth, which would not surprise me, because they use their mouths for everything. So that's how it happened, was that Glade plug-in. And I don't have like I've been wanting to get like a baby wipe warmer, because they like their baby wipes warm. They don't like them cold on their butt. But I haven't gotten one, because I'm like, I don't want anything that plugs in, because I don't want to take a chance on them biting the cord. So I never would have dreamed she would have taken a Glade plug-in out of the socket with her mouth. Anyway, so that's how that happened. The other thing I've been asked a lot is she fixed? She is not. However, she has an appointment on Monday, the 7th, to have to get that taken care of. The thing is it's actually better for them, especially the females, to be fixed, because when they're in captivity, sometimes what happens is they grow cysts on their ovaries and their uterus from not reproducing. So, and that can be very painful. So it's really in her best interest to do it. I'm not even convinced it would help with any aggression anyway. Honestly, we're not having aggression issues. Yes, we had some aggression, but it wasn't true aggression. That aggression stemmed from the pain that she was in, and then the couple temper tantrums came from just all the changes that had taken place. And we don't have true... Petey's in there making noises, huh? We don't have true aggression issues. And no, I'm not in denial. We don't have true aggression issues. So, but anyway, but it may help a little bit with her moodiness. She hasn't been too bad. For that first week or two after the big event, she was pretty moody. There were days where I was like, oh, Kiara's not in a good mood today. So I was real careful when I interacted with her to make sure she was in a good mood. But I think that as well stemmed from not feeling well, But so, getting her fixed might help a little bit with that moodiness that she experiences every once in a while. But anyway, little Kiara is doing really good, and I'm still the alpha. And the reason I know I'm still the alpha is because she grooms me all the time. And in the wild, the alpha is the one that gets groomed the most. And so that's how I know that I'm still alpha. Of course she's going to challenge me. Of course she is. She's a monkey. And they do that. Of course she's going to throw temper tantrums every once in a while. Which she hadn't thrown temper tantrums in a couple of years up until this point. So, so anyway. So I'm still the alpha. She still grooms me a lot. And we're getting along really good. And Petey's doing really good. And I just wanted to update everyone, because I know that some people were really concerned about her and the aggressiveness and kind of how things were going. But little Kiara is doing really, really good. I'm very proud of her. She's done so good. She's a good little monkey girl. Yes, she's a good little monkey girl, huh? She just loves her puppets. Yes, she loves her puppets. This is a puppet that my friend sent her. And she loves it almost as much as she loves the one she got at Christmas. That one is her favorite. Oh my goodness, she loves that one, but she loves this one too. She likes the little puppets. She's a good girl. She's a good little Kiara. Oh my goodness. She's inspecting my arm. Grooming my arm. Making sure I have no bugs on me. No bugs. Such a good girl. You're such a good girl. I love you, little Kiara.